already.
So I'm here with Juan Adams. Juan, how you doing, man?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long while since we've seen you in the cage. So really, how has this whole pandemic life been for you?
It's been fun, man. I've been training a lot, dating a lot, kind of just doing whatever. I got a full time job again now, and it's crazy because like I still train 3 or 4 times a day,
Yeah,
and then like work a shift, work a shift, and then on the weekends when we're off here, I just make up all the hours that that I can and go from. But I was signed to fight in January, and that fell through pandemic. And then recently, they just gave me permission to fight for other organizations. So I'm now fighting for Fury in Houston, May 16th. So
yeah, that's
gotta
awesome.
lose some.
Yeah, that's awesome. Come on to that fight in a second. But you mentioned Aries there, so I'll bring it up now. The plan is to go back and fight for them still once this is all
Yeah,
over.
that is the plan. As soon as they're up and running, man, I'd love to honor my contract and fight it out for them. Um, but if another big promotion calls in the meantime, or somebody else gives me the chance to fight in the meantime, I'm obviously going to take it.
Yeah,
Now that I have, because I mean, it doesn't help anyone for me to be inactive. Whatever promotion I'm going to, they obviously need some recent stuff. They don't want a guy that's been out of the cage for 2 years. So I'm just gonna fight wherever I can right now and see where everything falls at the end of that.
yeah, and it's good for you obviously to find a fight in Texas and for a promotion you fought for before, right?
Right, definitely. I've got a lot of respect for the promoter, and even my opponent. Like my opponent, I used to be training. We used to train together. We never fought. He was a pro when I was still an amateur, and so we were friends. And nobody wanted to fight either of us. And my coach called his coach, and
Yeah.
I mean, we'll take it if nobody else is available. So that's how it came to be. But it's a really good. Everything just kind of worked out perfectly. There's no animosity, no stress. Good guy, good promotion, and it's back home, so I'll get to spend some time with the family right afterwards.
That's awesome. So we'll go back a bit. Tell us a bit about your background and then how you found martial arts and how you came into the sport.
Alrighty, so I started. I started playing sports when I was 3 years old. I was pretty competitive, and then I went to once I got to high school. At that point, I kind of knew I was going to. I knew athletics is something that I wanted to pursue full time, and so when I was in high school, I just wanted to play a collegiate sport. I didn't care which one. Obviously, I thought I was going to do it for football.
Yeah.
Uh, Due to a lot of different events, it just didn't work out that way. I got injured my senior year, and I came at a crossroads where it was like, do you want to? And I started wrestling in high school, and that's what my passion was. I loved wrestling. I loved wrestling season, and it gets to this crossroads where it's like, okay, well, you didn't earn the scholarship. You have an opportunity to get guaranteed admission somewhere for football or for to a scholarship. So I said, at that time, I said, if it's going to be something I have to really work for, I'd rather it be something that I love to do. So I started wrestling. I chose to wrestle in college, and then I kind of found mixed because and I was looking for a place to train over the summer, so I didn't get too fat. So down there, and I said it would give me a free help their guys there with wrestling. And just teaching them different tricks and different shortcuts in wrestling, better aid their fighting. And that's kind of where I took an interest in it. I had done a couple of cardio kickboxing classes just to get a different type of workout in. And then, in college, by my senior year, it was like I think I could probably do that, and so that's what I figured I was going to try and do. I had an NFL tryout right when I graduated college, and all that really did was confirm that like I really don't like football. So I decided to, in January of 2016 to go all in on my MMA training, and haven't looked back since.
What position did you play in football?
I played defensive line and offensive line. So in high school, they actually moved me from defensive tackle to offensive tackle. And then in college, they wanted me to play defensive tackle. Then they moved me to offensive tackle again. And then, so that's when I just decided to just wrestle. And after that, for the NFL trial, they wanted me to play defensive end. And I loved the workouts. I just didn't like football. Then I started to try and lose all the weight and fight.
Yeah. So how frustrating has it been for you not being able to find a fight since leaving the UFC?
It's been very frustrating, mainly because that was my only source of income for a while, and not being able to do that due to something completely outside of my control wasn't fun. Right when I didn't resign, when the UFC decided not to resign me, Aries came, within 24 hours.
Yeah.
So everything was looking good. Everything was looking up. I was making more money. I was set to make more money. So I was really excited about that. And, then it fell through. And I couldn't fight for anyone else because I had signed an exclusive contract. And so that was highly frustrating. And also for them to continually just cancel events. I was set to fight in August of 2020 at first. And that fell through due to the pandemic. Then we were set to fight again maybe in December, and that fell through. In January, so I was really excited about that one, and it fell through. And now here we are at over a year since I've been able to fight, and that's really frustrating. So, but at the same time, it's also allowed me to kind of really decide if this is something I want to do. When I was in the UFC, there was a lot of stuff going on outside of the cage, and it was just at a point where I didn't even like I would get to fight week and I'm just like, all right, that's another camp done. I'm just glad I don't have to, live in the gym and work out hours a day anymore. But now, this year kind of allowed me to take a more relaxed approach to training again, make it more about knowledge and growth. And as I grew, I decided that this is something that I really want to do, which was huge for me. So it was honestly a blessing long term because now I'm doing this not with any outside motivations. It's just something that I felt like I wanted to do, and I get to do it again.
Yeah. Where are you now? Are you at the gym?
Yeah. I just pulled up to the gym. I'm about to head up and walk to my room, actually.
That's good, because my next question was going to be, talk to me about that training environment down at are you in Albuquerque now or at Jackson or?
Yeah, Albuquerque at Link, and
tell me about that environment training there.
I love it. It's funny because you have some guys. Everyone here trains a little bit differently. There's some guys that only use the coaches here. There's some guys out here that will literally go train at every gym out here, just because they love working out that much, or they want to get different looks. For me, I just go to the classes. I get private with Mike and Greg, Mike Winklejohn and Greg Jackson. So my training environment is great. I train, and then I come upstairs, and there's my room, and I go to bed. It's pretty chill. I like it quite a bit, but it's a different training. It's like a college for fighters, really. Dorm environment. Some guys live in a dorm setting with multiple roommates. Luckily, I have my own room here, so I don't have to deal with much of it. But it's kind of like being in college again.
Do you feel like living in the gym like that allows you to kind of focus on the training more?
Definitely, definitely. When you live in the gym, there's not a whole lot distraction wise here. Um, for me, I come to my room, I've got my TV and my Xbox. That's about it. My laptop. So I just chill, I relax. I don't have to interact with people if I don't want to interact with them. So it's a pretty good fit.
Yeah. So how long have you been down there now?
I came out here November of 2019. So about a year and a half almost. Yeah, almost a year and a half.
And have you been living there like this the whole time?
Yeah, when I first moved out here, actually, I had a roommate, a Bellator heavyweight, Davion. Davion Franklin was my roommate. Now, once single rooms became available, we both moved into a single. It's but yeah, so I've been living like this pretty much since, what was it, April of 2020? Yeah.
Who are some of your closest friends in the gym? Obviously you mentioned Damien there, but who else do you kind of work with?
Honestly, my two closest friends are probably Joel Bauman, who's fought for Bellator. He's about to fight for LFA this weekend, actually. Not this past one, but the one coming up. Marissa Chavez, was signed to fight for LFA, but that one fell through. So they're like brother and sister to me. And then there's T.O. Jackson. He's like my little brother. He's always in here. We play a lot of Xbox against each other. And then Dwayne Pepper. That's pretty much my circle. And then there's of people that live at the gym. And then the guys that don't live at the gym, there's John Cunningham, who's had one amateur fight, and then Maurice Green is another really close friend of mine.
Yeah. Saw you working out with John Jones recently a little bit.
Yeah.
How is that experience training with him, and how is he stacking up sort of physically with you and a lot of the other heavyweights there?
John he's really strong, right? He hasn't been doing a lot of training like with heavyweights, so he's been doing a lot of stuff to just get bigger and stronger. Now he's, getting used to the body mechanics of being a bigger, stronger guy. But I mean, I locked up with him, and it felt a lot like my college wrestling matches, just like how strong he was and how able. His knowledge of body mechanics is next level, and his fight IQ in all different forms of combat sports is really amazing to roll with him. A lot of times when I'm here, I'll just force myself into bad positions with other guys so I can get a realistic look. Yeah. With John, I put myself in a bad position, like I'm always gonna pay for it. It's definitely, but it's great because that's what you need to grow. And anytime you get a chance to train with someone that's arguably the greatest of all time at what they do, it's going to be a good learning experience. And but in terms of how he stacks up with other guys, I mean, he looks just as imposing as anyone here.
So there's obviously a lot of intrigue about him making that move up as well. And you probably know more about John as a heavyweight than a lot of people, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Compared to some of the guys you fought in the UFC, how does his strength compare then?
I would say other than Greg Hardy, he's the strongest guy that I've ever, been with. In terms of, because with a lot of guys, I could be in not the best position and still overcome it. With Greg, he was so strong and athletic that, like, I got in on a bad shot and it was going to take me more time to set up a finish. And obviously the fight got called before I was able to do that.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, other than that, I would say he's the strongest. I mean, he's very strong weight room wise. And then when you couple that with his knowledge of body mechanics and his Greco style wrestling is very good. Very, very high level. in terms of hand placement, keeping his arms safe and how to position his body. It's very good. You know, Another guy that was surprisingly strong that I fought in the UFC was Arjun
Yeah,
Bueller. He took me down twice, and his grip strength was really good. And his lock, once he locked in, his stuff was pretty impressive. But with Arjun, the first time he took me down, I was still able to kind of just get in a slightly decent position, and then my strength kind of overwhelmed him, and I was able to get up. With John, I have to make sure it's a really good position. I have to constantly be setting stuff up, and then I have to chain three or four things together in order to get out with him. I can't just explode out
yeah.
because it's that good.
Um, Another person training at Jackson Wink with a lot of intrigue about them is Clarissa Shields. Have you seen much of her working in the gym, and how's she adapting?
She's adapting really well. Obviously, well, a lot of people don't understand is there's different areas of intelligence, right? And when it comes to athletics, I call it what I learned it was called kinesthetic intelligence, right? The body in motion, the knowledge of motion, having a high IQ when it comes to that. And what you'll notice about a lot of these really high level athletes, that when it comes to that, they can pick things up and learn things and have a higher kinesthetic IQ than most people do. So
Yeah.
when you're that high level and that high level functioning and proven to be that level, you can pick things up pretty easily. I remember when she got here, Coach Wink had me working with her, working something like it seemed simple to me, but it was something completely new to her. And it was just for 5 minutes, literally, and in 5 minutes she got it quick.
Yeah.
So um so working with her and like seeing her, obviously her boxing is nobody can touch her on that. And the thing with kicks is you can learn when to throw a kick and you can learn how to throw a kick, but unless you get thousands upon thousands of repetitions of it, you're not really going to master it. But in terms of when to throw things and how to defend them and stuff like that, she's picked it up extremely quickly.
You mentioned the kicks there. Holly Holm's not a bad person to be training with kicks, is she?
Definitely not. It's funny, like I watch Holly hit pads and she can just go for like a 30 minute or
Yeah.
45 session. When I hit pads of Coach Wink, there's like 20 minutes in me, and I have to take breaks and like take a lot of breaks every few minutes. Holly can just go, and it's crazy. And watching her kicks, it's cool just to see the fluidity and with which she can throw them. Because I've been working my kicks with them. I'm not a kicker. I don't kicking. You know, I've got like 5 kicks that I really like to do, and I'm gonna leave it there. But watching them just trying, and Coach Wink has me like he has me throwing head kicks and stuff. I I can do it. It's just I don't like it. It's a lot of energy, and the chances of it landing is just mathematically. I've done it in my head. It's not worth it for me. But for some people, it works.
It's a lot easier when you're 5'7" versus when you're 6 foot, however tall you are. How tall are you?
5.5. That leg's got a little bit farther to travel.
So obviously you've got some long-term goals to get back to the UFC or to get to another major promotion, but short-term, what's the plan?
Short term, it's to go in there and get an impressive win against my current opponent. May 16th, that's coming up. It's been a while since I've cut weight, so seeing in another year of growth and my body maturing, it's going to be interesting to see how my body reacts to the diet I'm on right now and the amount of cardio that I'm having to do. And so that's obviously the most pressing thing is the weight cut. And you know we're at a point now where I've been training nonstop for a year and a half, and I've had fights come through and fall off. So I just feel that skill wise, I'm at a level that I've never been at before. I'm more confident, a lot more comfortable um, with my style, and we've kind of made some tweaks to get me back to the style that I had when I was winning fights, while also cleaning up a lot of things that were alarming in the early stages of my career. So we're just fixing everything, and I'm really excited about it. So the short term goal is, make weight, get to that fight, and really put on a performance that I can call a showcase of my abilities.
Just finally, what is sort of one piece of general advice you'd give to anyone who stumbles across this interview?
You know, that's a tough one. I'll leave it with some life advice that I took from this past year. Um, you can't do things for other people, right? You really have to, if you're going to do something or commit to something, you have to make sure that it's something that you want to do and that you're ready to do. Don't rush things. Don't rush your process. Don't rush your growth. Take it one day, one step at a time. And when you're the right thing.
That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for the time today. Where can people keep up with what you're doing?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. That's usually a good blend of what I'm doing and me just screwing. If you want to be entertained, those are good spots to do it. Chosen One 285 on those. You can catch this upcoming fight on UFC Fight Pass. It will be May 16th for Fury Promotions. I am on the undercard, so tune in early. and it'll be a good fight. It's good fight card start to finish.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you get back in there, man. Thanks so much for the time today. Best of luck.
No problem, man. Thank you. Have a good one.